From the September campaign of 1939 to the streets of Warsaw in 1944, this is the complete story of Polish armor in World War II. 22 vehicles that fought against overwhelming odds, from indigenous light tanks and nimble tankettes to captured German armor wielded by resistance fighters. Poland's armored forces were outnumbered 10-1, yet they fought with extraordinary courage and ingenuity. This is every Polish tank, armored car, and captured vehicle used in the Second World War.
Main battle tanks, 7 TP, Poland's pride and the world's diesel pioneer. The 7 TP entered service in 1935 as the first production diesel-powered tank anywhere, offering superior range and reduced fire risk compared to gasoline engines. A total of 149 were built, with 133 mounting a single turret armed with the excellent Swedish 37mm Bofors gun, and 16 featuring twin machine gun turrets. Weighing 9.9 tons with armor up to 17 millimeters thick, the 7 TP was technically superior to the German Panzer I and II it faced in September 1939. Two complete battalions equipped with 7 TPs fought heroically during the invasion, with individual tanks often destroying multiple German vehicles before being overwhelmed. 9 TP, the improved successor that arrived too late. Development of this enhanced version began in 1938, featuring thicker armor up to 40 millimeters and improved mechanical components. Approximately 13 prototypes and pre-production models were completed by September 1939. Several fought in the desperate defense of Warsaw, providing mobile firepower during street fighting. The 9 TP represented what Polish tank development could have achieved with more time. Its thicker armor made it effectively immune to German 20mm and 37mm guns at combat ranges, but production never reached the scale needed to make a strategic difference. Vickers 6-ton, the British import that launched Polish tank design. Poland purchased 38 of these reliable light tanks from Britain in the early 1930s, including 16 with single turrets and 22 with twin turrets. These served as training vehicles and formed the basis for Poland's own 7 TP development, essentially a heavily modified and improved Vickers design. By September 1939, the Vickers tanks themselves were obsolete and relegated to training duties, but their mechanical lessons lived on in every Polish-designed tank. The British Vickers proved Poland could operate and maintain armored vehicles independently. Tankets, TK3, Poland's first mass-produced armored vehicle. Based on the British Carden-Loyd design, but with significant Polish improvements. Approximately 300 TK3 tankettes were built between 1931 and 1933. The tiny two-man vehicle weighed just 2.4 tons and mounted a single 7.92mm machine gun. Despite being lightly armored and undergunned, TK3s provided Polish cavalry brigades with mobile reconnaissance capability. During the 1939 invasion, their small size and low profile made them difficult targets, though their thin armor rendered them ineffective against German tanks. Many crews fought to the last using speed and maneuverability. TKS, the improved tankette with better everything. Approximately 280 TKS tankettes were produced starting in 1933, featuring improved suspension, better armor arrangement, and enhanced visibility for the crew. The Germans nicknamed them Kakerlaken, cockroaches, for their ability to appear suddenly and scurry away. Weighing 2.6 tons and mounting the same 7.92mm machine gun as the TK3, the TKS proved slightly more survivable in combat. Polish crews used them aggressively for reconnaissance and ambush attacks against German truck convoys and infantry, serving their intended role with distinction throughout September 1939. TKS with 20mm cannon, the giant killer and Poland's greatest tank legend. In a desperate rush before the invasion, 24 TKS tankettes were retrofitted with the powerful 20mm WZ-38FK autocannon, transforming them from reconnaissance vehicles into legitimate tank destroyers. The most famous belonged to Officer Cadet Roman Orlik, who on September 18, 1939, at the Battle of Pociecha, destroyed an astonishing 10 to 13 German tanks, including 2 Panzer 35s and a Panzer IV.
His 2.6-ton tankette faced vehicles weighing up to 20 tons, yet the 20mm gun proved devastating at close range. This represents one of history's most remarkable tank actions. TKF, the Polski Fiat variant. Approximately 18 of these TK series tankettes were built using Polski Fiat engines instead of the standard power plant. This modification utilized available domestic engines and reduced dependence on imports. The TKF performed similarly to the TK3, serving primarily in training and reserve units by 1939. A handful participated in combat during the September campaign, though their contribution was minimal compared to the more numerous TK3 and TKS variants. The TKF represented Poland's attempt to maximize domestic production capabilities within severe budgetary constraints facing the military in the 1930s.
TKD, the first tank destroyer experiment. Only 4 of these unusual vehicles were produced, mounting a 47mm WZ-25 Pocisk gun on a modified TK chassis. The concept was to provide Polish reconnaissance units with a vehicle capable of engaging enemy armor, anticipating the tank destroyer doctrine that would become crucial later in the war. However, the tiny chassis struggled with the recoil and weight of the gun, making the vehicle unstable and difficult to operate. None saw combat in 1939, remaining in training facilities when the invasion began. The TKD proved the concept sound even if execution was flawed. TKS-D, the ultimate Polish tankette destroyer. Only 2 prototypes were completed, mounting the excellent 37mm Bofors anti-tank gun on a widened TKS chassis. This combination offered genuine anti-tank capability in a small, mobile package. The 2 vehicles were still undergoing trials when Germany invaded. One was destroyed during the September campaign, while the fate of the second remains unclear. Had production begun earlier, the TKS-D could have provided Polish reconnaissance units with desperately needed firepower against German armor. It represented the culmination of Polish tankette development, combining years of hard-won experience. Imported French tanks. Renault R35. The French reinforcement that arrived too late to fight. In July 1939, Poland received 50 of these modern French infantry tanks, forming the 21st Light Tank Battalion. The R35 was well armored by 1939 standards, with up to 45mm of protection, and mounted a 37mm SA-18 gun. However, when the invasion began on September 1st, the 21st Battalion was still forming and its crews were not fully trained. The entire unit was withdrawn to Romania on September 17th, when the Soviet Union invaded from the east, never firing a shot. These tanks later saw service with Romanian forces, an ironic fate. Renault WZ-32, the Polish designation for domestically modified French Renault tanks. These were essentially Renault FT variants, adapted to Polish requirements with improved communications equipment and minor armament changes. Purchased in the 1920s, they served as training vehicles and equipped reserve units by 1939. The WZ-32 designation covered various modifications Poland made to their aging French tanks. While obsolete by September 1939, some participated in defensive actions during the invasion. Their primary value was training Polish crews who would later operate the more modern 7 TP tanks in frontline service. Renault FT, the WWII veterans still soldiering on. Approximately 102 of these ancient French light tanks remained in Polish service in September 1939, having been purchased in the early 1920s. Originally designed in 1917, they were hopelessly obsolete by World War II standards. Armed with either a 37mm Puteaux gun or machine gun in a rotating turret, they weighed just 6.5 tons. The 2nd Armored Battalion operated Renault FTs during the September campaign, primarily in defensive positions where their mobility limitations mattered less. Against modern German tanks, they were death traps, but they fought nonetheless. Prototypes: 10 TP, the cruiser tank that never was. Only one prototype of this ambitious design was under construction when Germany invaded. The 10 TP featured Christie suspension for high speed, intended to give Poland a fast cruiser tank for exploitation operations. Inspired by Soviet BT series tanks, it aimed to combine speed with reasonable firepower and protection. Development began in 1937, but manufacturing delays and budget constraints prevented completion. The prototype was destroyed to prevent capture when Warsaw fell. The 10 TP represented Poland's attempt to develop a modern tank matching Western European standards, tragically interrupted by invasion. 14 TP, the medium tank Poland desperately needed. Development of this 14-ton medium tank began in 1938 as Poland recognized the inadequacy of light tanks against improving German armor. The design called for a 47mm gun and armor up to 40 millimeters thick. Construction started on several prototypes, but none were completed before September 1939. The 14 TP would have given Poland a tank comparable to the Panzer III, capable of standing toe-to-toe with German armor. Its development showed Polish armor designers understood modern tank warfare requirements, but industrial capacity and time ran out before production could begin.
4 TP, the reconnaissance tank prototype designated PZ Inger 140. Only one prototype was built in the late 1930s, designed to provide cavalry units with a fast reconnaissance vehicle more capable than tankettes. It featured improved armor compared to tankettes while maintaining high speed. The 4 TP mounted a 20mm autocannon, offering genuine firepower for engaging light vehicles and infantry. The prototype was still undergoing trials when war began. It was destroyed to prevent capture, representing yet another promising Polish design that arrived too late. The concept was sound, but timing was catastrophic. PZ Inger 130, the amphibious tank experiment. This prototype explored Poland's need for vehicles capable of crossing the numerous rivers in Polish and Soviet territory. Development took place in the late 1930s, with the tank designed to swim using propellers and sealed hull. Technical challenges with waterproofing and propulsion delayed the project. By September 1939, the prototype was incomplete. Poland recognized that rapid river crossing would be crucial in any future war, but developing amphibious capability proved beyond Polish industrial capacity before invasion. The PZ Inger 130 represented ambitious thinking constrained by limited resources. Armored cars WWII, the modified French half-track. Poland purchased and modified the French Cadet Roman Orlik M23 half-track, designating it the WWII. These vehicles provided motorized infantry units with mobile firepower and protection. Armed with machine guns and featuring armored bodies, they operated in reconnaissance and security roles. By 1939, approximately 10 to 15 remained in service, mostly relegated to training and rear echelon duties. The WWII showed Poland's willingness to adapt foreign designs to domestic needs. While not true armored cars, their half-track configuration offered good mobility across rough Polish terrain during the brief September campaign. WZ-29, the heavy armored car. Developed domestically in the late 1920s, the WZ-29 featured a four-wheel configuration for improved off-road performance. Some variants mounted a 37mm Puteaux gun, giving them genuine anti-armor capability, unusual for armored cars of the era. The distinctive angular turret and heavy armor made it one of Poland's most capable armored cars. Approximately 12 to 15 served in reconnaissance battalions during 1939. Their firepower and protection exceeded most contemporary armored cars. but small numbers limited their impact. The WZ-29 demonstrated Polish armored car design competence, despite limited industrial resources. WZ-34, the improved and most numerous Polish armored car. Based on the WZ-28 design, but with significant improvements, the WZ-34 became the main armored car of Polish forces in 1939. Approximately 100 were in service, equipping cavalry reconnaissance units and motorized infantry. Mounting machine guns in a small turret, the WZ-34 offered 360-degree firepower. The vehicle combined reasonable armor with good mobility, serving effectively in its intended reconnaissance role. During the September campaign, WZ-34s conducted screening operations and provided mobile firepower, often fighting alongside tankettes in desperate rearguard actions against advancing German mechanized columns. Warsaw Uprising captured vehicles. Tiger of Barska Street, the impossible prize. During the Warsaw Uprising of August 1944, Polish resistance fighters achieved the unthinkable, capturing an operational German Tiger I heavy tank. Trapped on narrow Barska Street when its path was blocked, the crew abandoned it during a grenade attack. Polish insurgents christened it Tiger of Barska Street and used it briefly against German positions. The 57-ton behemoth provided devastating firepower until it ran out of fuel and ammunition. Unable to refuel it, the Poles eventually had to destroy the Tiger to prevent recapture. This feat of capturing Germany's most feared tank became legendary in Polish resistance lore. Jagdpanzer 38 T. Schwat, the captured Hetzer. Polish insurgents captured this German Jagdpanzer 38 T tank destroyer during the Warsaw Uprising, naming it Schwat, meaning brave lad in Polish. The low-profile 75mm gun-armed vehicle provided crucial anti-armor capability to the lightly armed resistance. Polish crews quickly learned to operate it, using the Hetzer against German strongpoints and armor. Its sloped armor offered good protection in urban combat. The captured Hetzer fought for several days before being destroyed or abandoned due to mechanical breakdown or lack of ammunition. Polish resistance successfully operating captured German armor showcased remarkable improvisation and courage. Pudel and Felik, the Panther twins. Polish insurgents captured not one, but two Panther medium tanks during the Warsaw Uprising, naming them Pudel and Felik, Pudel and Felix. These 45-ton tanks, armed with 75mm guns, represented sophisticated German armor technology. Polish crews, many with pre-war armor experience, successfully operated both Panthers against their former owners. The tanks fought in urban combat until fuel exhaustion and mechanical issues forced their abandonment. Capturing and operating Panthers demonstrated that Polish tankers, given equipment, could match German armored forces. These victories provided tremendous morale boosts to the desperate uprising. From the diesel-powered 7TP to the captured Panthers of Warsaw, Polish armor tells a story of courage against overwhelming odds. The 7TP proved Poland could design and produce modern tanks matching Western standards. Officer Cadet Roman Orlik's incredible achievement in his 20 military-armed TKS tankette, destroying over a dozen German tanks, represents the spirit of Polish resistance throughout the war. The outdated Renault FTs fought alongside modern equipment in desperate September battles. Prototypes like the 14TP and 10TP showed what Poland could have fielded with more time and resources. Most remarkably, Warsaw Uprising fighters captured and operated Tigers, Hetzers, and Panthers against their creators. Polish armor was outnumbered, often outgunned, and ultimately overwhelmed, but never outfought. The legacy of Polish tankers is written in extraordinary bravery and technical competence. Small numbers, big hearts, unbreakable spirit.